Jesus left the temple and was on his way. And his disciples came up to him and drew his attention to its buildings. "Do you see all these things?" Jesus said. "I tell you the truth, not one stone will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." Now, while Jesus was sitting at the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him privately and said, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus said, "Watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am the Christ,' and will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. But see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. These are the beginning of the birth pains. And then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. And the whole world will hate you because of me. At that time, many will fall away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. And because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But he who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation spoken of in the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one who is on the roof of his house go down to get anything out of his house. Let no one who is in the fields go back to get his cloak. Oh, how dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight may not take place in winter or on the Sabbath, for then there shall be such distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. Oh, if those days weren't cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. So, if anyone tells you, "Oh, look, here is the Christ," or "There he is," do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and miracles to deceive even the elect, if that were possible. So, if anyone says to you, "There he is, out in the desert," do not go out. Or, "Here he is in the inner room," do not believe it. For as lightning, which appears in the east, is visible even in the west, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Oh, where there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately in the days after that distress, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man, coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather the elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Oh, learn this lesson from the fig tree. Whenever you see its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happen, know that it is near, right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. No one knows the day or the hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. See, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, men were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up until the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what was going to happen until the flood came and took them all away. So it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Two men will be in a field, and one will be taken and the other left. Two women will be grinding with a hand mill, and one will be taken and the other left. Therefore, keep watch, for you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this. If the owner of the house knew at what time of night the thief was coming, well, he would have kept watch and wouldn't have allowed his house to be broken into. So you also must be ready, for the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the servants of his household to give them food at the proper time? Well, it will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. I tell you the truth, he will put him in charge of all of his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master has been away a long time. And then he begins to beat his fellow servants and eat and drink with drunkards. Well, the master of that servant will come on a day he is not expecting, at an hour he is not aware of. He will cut him to pieces and will assign him a place with the hypocrites, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to wait for the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but didn't take any oil with them. The wise, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. Now the bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell fast asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, "The bridegroom is here! Come out to meet him!" They woke up and immediately began to trim their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are running out." But they said to them, "No, there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy oil, the bridegroom arrived. And the virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet. And the door was locked. Later, the others came. And they said, "Sir, open the door for us." But he will say to them, "I tell you the truth, I don't know you." That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Therefore keep watch, for you do not know the day or the hour. Again, it is like a man going on a journey who brought together his servants to entrust his property to them. To one man he gave 5 talents of money. To another he gave 2 talents, and to another he gave 1 talent. And then he went on his journey. Now the man who had received 5 talents immediately put his money to work, and he gained 5 more. In the same way, the one who had 2 talents gained 2 more. But the one who had received 1 talent of money he dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master returned and settled his accounts with them. Now, the one who had received 5 talents came and brought the other 5, saying, "Master, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more." And his master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in a few things. I will now put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." And the one who had received 2 talents said, "Master, you have entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more." And the master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." The man who had received 1 talent he came and said, "Master, I knew you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I buried your money in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you." Well, the master will say to that servant, "You wicked and lazy servant. So you knew I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have taken my money and put it on deposit with the bankers. So then at least when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. Take that 1 talent and give it to him who has 10. For whoever has shall be given more. But whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. You see, when the Son of Man comes in all his glory, with all the angels with him, he will sit on his throne in heavenly glory, and all the nations will be gathered before him. And he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And the sheep he will put on his right, and the goats he will put on his left. And he will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you came and visited me." And then the righteous will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and give you something to eat, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothed you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come and take care of you?" And the king shall reply, "I tell you the truth, whatever you did for the least of these brothers of mine, you did it for me." And then he will turn to those on his left, and the king shall say, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you didn't clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not take care of me." And then those on his left will say, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and didn't help you?" And then the king shall say to them, "I tell you the truth, whatever you did not do to one of the least of these, you didn't do it to me." And then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life.